Hey everyone. Having grown up in the Los Angeles area, I've kind of noticed a few things about human behavior when they live in big cities. And there's something that I really don't like that seems to be a quality of people who grew up in big cities or people who just move to them and stay in them for a while. And this is they become incredibly competitive with each other. Now, normally this probably wouldn't be that big of an issue, right? Like, competition is something that can be good for us. It can help us grow and evolve and become better human beings. But the form of competition that I've witnessed people exhibiting in big cities is more a kind of toxic form of competition where people are constantly comparing themselves to everyone around them and trying to be the best person in their surroundings, trying to one up everyone and that sort of thing. It's probably where the whole keeping up with the Joneses idea comes from, because everyone's just competing with each other in big cities because a lot of people unfortunately don't really work on themselves, and the environment just kind of makes people play that stupid game because you have a bunch of neighbors around you and everybody's trying to buy the largest house, have the nicest car, have the most attractive spouse, and whatever it may be, and it's really annoying. It's super annoying. People just need to work on themselves enough to not care so much about being better than everyone around them because, well, you're never going to be, but also, that's a really stupid way to go through life. You should always be striving to be better than who you were yesterday or a week ago, not being better than other people in your environment, because good luck doing that. And also, it's not all that fulfilling. Even if you somehow miraculously do end up being the best person in your immediate environment, now what? What do you do from there? Where do you go from there? You have to create more goals, you have to find more people you can best, or what do you do, right? So it's not all that fulfilling. It's a pretty stupid way to go through life. And that's why I would suggest all of you don't play these stupid comparison games. You can be competitive. I'm not saying competition is a bad thing, but there's a time and a place for it, right? You want to choose healthy forms of competition, like where you're actually competing in a literal event where there's a first place prize and that sort of thing. It's okay to be competitive in that situation because it calls for it. It's literally a competition. But when you're competing with your neighbors or your coworkers and everyone around you trying to be the richest person, trying to be the strongest person, trying to be the most attractive person, trying to whatever it may be, that's a really dumb way to go through life. Don't play that stupid game. Don't try to keep up with the Joneses. Instead, work on your self-image enough that you don't need to play those dumb games. Work on controlling your ego, because that's what will make you fall victim to that ridiculous mentality of trying to beat everyone around you and be the best person out of everyone. It's just stupid. So I'm really curious if any of you have also experienced this. I don't know how many of you may have grown up in big cities, but I'd be interested in seeing if you've noticed this as well, because it's just so unfortunate. And it's one of the reasons why I want to get out of big cities, because I've been to enough small towns now to know that people think differently in them, and I much prefer the way people are in small towns as opposed to big cities. Sure, there are kind people everywhere, don't get me wrong. Like, everywhere you go, you will be able to encounter great, awesome, kind, nice, caring people. But I just feel like there's more of them in small towns because of the psychology behind that living situation. When you're living in a big city, it's so easy to not care as much about the people around you because rather often you're never going to see them ever again, right? Like in the LA area, there's like, I think around 18 million or so people in the greater Los Angeles area, which is a massive area, but that's a lot of people. 18 million? Like, holy crap. I could literally travel all over LA and I will run into people I will never see ever again in my life, like literally. So that kind of opens a door for people not caring so much about the people around them because they think they don't matter. They're not going to ever see them again. So who cares about being kind and respectful towards them, right? Like, you could be a complete a-hole to someone in a large city, and if you never see them again, does it really matter? I mean, sure, it matters for your own self-image because now you know that you were an a-hole to that person. But if nobody else witnessed it except that person and you never see them again, does it really cause any damage? there you go. That's why so many people in large cities can get away with being a-holes, being rude as hell, because there aren't that many consequences for that behavior. But in small towns, you can't do that, because if they're small enough, people will remember you. Like, there are only so many people in small towns. Some of them have populations less than 1,000. Like, you are going to be remembered if you go somewhere and you're a complete a-hole to all the workers there, or even the other patrons who are visiting that business or whatever it may be. So there's an incentive to treat other people like human beings in small towns. Not so much in big cities. So you just get all these ridiculous mentalities, all these ridiculously inflated egos, and people just not being all that great to their fellow human beings. And with that, you get that overly competitive behavior, everyone trying to be better than everyone else around them, and it's just ridiculous and even draining. It's something I'm pretty tired of, because I've even encountered this at areas where people would actually be working on becoming better human beings, like at the gym, for instance, yet they're still comparing themselves to everyone around them. And it defeats the purpose. Like, what are you doing? Compare yourself to who you were yesterday. Especially at places like the gym, it's really dumb. You will almost always find someone bigger than you unless you have been taking roids for decades yourself. So it's just dumb to have that mentality. It can make you lose motivation when you find people who are better than you. But if you do end up somehow being the best, again, you can still lose motivation because now there's nobody else to try to beat. It's dumb. Aim to go through life always comparing yourself to who you were yesterday, because that's far healthier, and that's also a way where you can ensure that you're always becoming a better human being, and nobody gets harmed in that situation, right? Like, the old version of you isn't going to get offended over it because you're no longer that person, so even if you end up beating that old version of you, no harm, no foul. But when you're beating other people around you, you can make them feel insecure, you can make them get jealous, or just not good. So just aim to not be concerned with what other people are doing and trying to be better than them, because it's a foolish game to play. Life is too short to do that. It's also very insecure behavior, so probably don't want to exhibit it too often, because other people, if they're astute enough, will pick up on that. And so just worth working on all those things that make you want to be better than other people, all those insecurities, all that childhood trauma. I mean, take it from me, I used to get emotionally bullied as a kid, so it was rough for me to adapt to not wanting to be smarter than my peers. That was basically the only advantage I had over them, because they were all bigger than me. So that was the one thing I would use to try to like feel good about myself, was like, oh, I'm smarter than these people. But even that's not fulfilling, especially when you encounter people smarter than you, or when your intelligence isn't on display for whatever reason, because it can't be in the situation. So just work on the insecurities that make you want to participate in this dumb game, and your life will be a lot better for it. But that's all I have for you guys. I truly hope you enjoyed this video. I really am curious to hear about your take on this. So if you grew up in a big city, or if you're currently living in one, I would love to hear your experience with this. Please let me know in the comment section down below if you have found this to be the case as well. And that's all I have for you. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Arrivederci!